This build features content from packs that I got for free through the EA Creator Network. And today's build is a shell challenge entry hosted by Sims 4 Luca. It is the dragon shell because there is a wooden dragon sculpture that was one of the rules that you had to try and use that in your build. And so I put mine right in the front, so it's kind of like greeting you when you walk up the sloping steps to the cottage. I also put a couple like back on the patio where there's a trellis above a dining room table, and I think I fit two of them in like a stone archway because I had put the one and I was like, you know what, maybe I should try and incorporate this in different areas of the build. And so I decided to go back in and size them down and put them around in different areas, which I didn't put in the video because I was like, just like, that was like a last minute decision of me trying to see where I would put them. I also didn't show me putting the like purple orbs of light around the landscape, which I used to use like fairly often. It's been a while since I really used them. Normally I use them in the yellow, but they're just a Realm of Magic live edit object, or it's debug. I'm not sure which one it is. I use Better Build By, so it's like hard for me to know what's debug and what's live edit. But it is a part of Realm of Magic, so if you're looking for it, it is in one of those sorts of menus with like either the cheat or with Better Build By. But now about what I'm doing in the actual video. I was inspired by this wooden dragon sculpture to incorporate that sort of element into the landscape. So you'll see that I pulled out a bunch of like trees and wood pieces that don't have leaves on it because I wanted it to feel like this like wood is just growing out of the ground, and maybe that dragon sculpture was once just like a tree that was there that someone sculpted into that shape. That was like my mindset when I was deciding what I was doing for the landscape. And I just really like the white flowers on the trees. I think it looks really nice with the stone and wood like elements throughout the rest of the landscape. I did build this in Henford, except this lot, when you try to upload to the gallery, there's like three trees that block the entire gallery photo. And so I'm trying to move it to a different lot just to upload to the gallery. But like sometimes I forget that certain lots have different terrain paint under it. So where this looks pretty like okay, I think the dirt that shows through looks nice for this lot. And then I try to move it to one in like Moonwood Mill, and the dirt was a lot more like sandy, and I didn't think it looked as good. So I'm either gonna have to just like upload it with the terrain looking slightly different or find a better lot to like upload it, because I really don't want to upload to the gallery and it be three like giant trees that cover the entire build. It doesn't even show any part of the actual cottage because it's like perfectly hidden behind it. But I went for like a purple and pink theme for this. I didn't really have any ideas when I was like starting with picking out colors. I think I just had seen some items that I liked, and that's what I ended up going with. So I'm using just like different purple flowers around, and I'm really happy that I decided to add a little bit more to the landscape by bringing in those like magical realm of magic glowing lights, because I think it makes the landscape feel a lot more magical and really pretty, especially like in the evening. Because right now I'm building and the lighting is sort of right before it starts getting dark out, which looks really good on this lot. But like, I love this lot. It's such a shame that the gallery photo is like just all the trees that are in the like front right part of the lot, like in front of it. You could see it while I'm messing around with the roof and stuff here. And the shape was like pretty simple that they created for the shell challenge. I'll have their pages linked below in the description too, their Instagram and their YouTube if you'd like to follow them. This is, I think it's hashtag dragon shell for all of the entries if you would like to take a look on the gallery of other people's entries to their shell challenge. It's always fun to see everyone's different ideas that they came up with like one shell like shape and a prompt. It was also just a really good size too because I was like I couldn't do another large build right now, and the lot that I picked was a bit larger. I think it's a 40 by 30, but you could see that it has a lot of like empty space, or it's just me filling up the space with those large purple like live edit flowers mixed in with some purple. I think they're just base game purple flowers. I don't know. There's like different packs that have like the same sort of flower look to it. And I went with a lighter wood like color scheme in the actual cottage of the build. I liked the stained glass windows with the butterflies at like the peaks of the roof because it like blended in with the purple and pink that I was already picking out for the landscape. And I decided to make a small back patio, which ends up being the perfect size for this like trellis piece that goes over the dining room table out there. I just recently bought it's like the like Riviera Retreat. Yeah, that's the name of the kit. It was that kit. I just bought that one, which I never really knew what items came in it because it seemed like a poolside kit and I don't really build pools. So I didn't even really look into the kit that much when I came out, but my friend was building with it and I had seen the curtains that came with it. So I decided to just buy it. And I was like, you know what? I feel like I need something new in my game right now anyway, because I have been struggling a little bit to build. And I love that piece that goes like perfectly in the back patio area. It, like, works really well. But just like most of my landscapes for my builds, I try to just play around with different elevations, and I have the same sort of rocks framing the cliffs, which I realized I didn't put, like, all the way back and, like, lowered it to the ground a lot because I liked the way this dirt was showing through, only for this lot, though. So when it's on the gallery, it's not going to look as good. I will write down which lot this was because I don't know the exact name of it. I know that like two people live here in Henford, and it is such a beautiful lot. I wonder if they'll ever like fix the issue where the trees block half of the lot. I have no idea though, because isn't that also a problem in Brindleton Bay? One of the lots you like can't really see the lot on the gallery at all, which like this one I don't remember being as bad, and then I looked on my gallery and I had built one of my favorite houses on this lot because this is really like my favorite lot. I love the lighting on here. I love the surrounding trees. And that one was also like that, but I named it like Hidden Forest Home. And I was like, that's fine. But this one, the home was barely visible. So I'm like, I do not want to upload to the gallery when it's literally just going to be like those trees. And I really like this build and I like the vibrant purples and pinks. So I guess this is more pink than purple, but I put some more like of the like purple and pink in the interior because I was going with like yellow because that's like whenever I build, I think when I do a lighter palette, I always go for like pastel yellows. And then I was like, you know what? Wouldn't it make sense for me to try to incorporate some of the colors on the outside because of how prominent the pinks are out here? And so I went back in and I like changed. Well, I didn't change a lot. I just like added some more purple inside. But these are the kit items that I just recently bought. I used the fountain and I used that like I see again, I don't even know what it's called. The trellis, the like thing that goes over a deck. I really like the ivy that climbs up it, which like I don't know why I've never seen people use these items until recently. I don't know if a lot of people bought the what is it again? The Riviera Retreat kit. I don't know if a lot of people bought that one because I really haven't seen a lot of people use these items. And so when I'd seen the curtains, it was genuinely the first time I've ever seen the curtains, which I thought were CC at first because I really just didn't know anything about this kit. And the backyard area, I kept very simple and I just have like two different like sloping areas that lead down the lot to different gardening areas because it's like springtime is getting warmer. I'm like constantly thinking about gardening. My garden will be set up fairly soon. I usually just buy starter plants at like a nursery and then I like plant them in my raised beds. So I'm going to be doing that in the next couple of weeks. And so I've just been like really inspired by wanting to do a lot of like floral builds. And I have an idea for maybe a small stone castle with a lot of flowers. I had seen like a picture on a playlist on YouTube that inspired that thought. And so I really want to do that, but I cannot do a large build right now. And so to me, I'm like, wow, I want to do a big castle build. I haven't done one of those really. No, I can't do that. I want to do a small stone structure though that has a whole bunch of pastel flowers around it. And I'll probably use the same like purple glowing orbs that I used in this one, which I wish I had remembered to use in last week's speed build too, because originally I wanted that to be like a magical garden, and then I moved away from that idea and I use fireflies throughout the landscape, but those only come out at night, so it's hard to like capture that in pictures sometimes because you need to have it at a very specific point in the day. Whereas, like, if I'd used the yellow ones, I could have just had that like pretend fireflies around the entire lot already. But now we're on the inside of the build and the floor plan, it's very tiny. I want it to have an archway leading out to the outside to make it feel like, I don't know, I just wanted this to be more open to the outside, which it didn't even become that because I have another door that leads to that archway, but I liked that door better. And I didn't wanna have, like, a huge archway because I was looking at all the space and I'm like, "There's not a lot of space here," but it ended up working out fine. I needed to use a ladder for upstairs because, like, the stairs would have taken up way too much space. I feel like the kitchen is, like, the perfect size. It has everything you need. I also add in a wood-burning stove, and I'm not sure if your Sims can walk through their Sims need like half a tile, so I assumed they could, but that might not be functional. And then the like archway leading out to the patio, I ended up putting a piano in there because I thought it would be nice to like have that tucked away. And I liked the idea of having a piano in this build, but it wouldn't fit in the living room area, which is just like the main leftover pieces of the builds that I didn't have for like the bathroom and the kitchen, and then the small hallway, I guess, that leads to the ladder to go up to the bedroom. It ends up being a very simple but cute interior. I love this couch that I very rarely get to use. I don't even remember what pack that is from, but I really like that lavender color, which makes me want to do like a build with a lot more purple pastel flowers around. I guess the purple I was thinking about outside before when I was saying, I was like, yeah, there's a lot of purple flowers. When I was looking at it, it's because that like life and death, like purple shrub type grass. That was, like, what I was seeing most in my landscape, but I really just like purple and pink together anyway. I really like how vibrant the outside of this one looks, especially in the evening lighting. It looks really nice, especially, like, when I add in the glowing lights, which you don't see me placing them around in the video because I just didn't record that part. It's just a lot of me sizing them down and like raising them up into areas I thought that they would look nice, like mostly around trees, things like that. And I put in a workbench by the piano because I really have never used this item before. I think it came with another kit that I recently bought, which was the, like, artist painting kit, which I held off on for a while too, and I bought that, like, a few months ago now. But, like, yeah, I had never really, like, thought of looking into some of these kits. It's because I was trying to limit myself to only buying packs and stuff that I knew that I would really use, and now I'm, like, realizing I overlooked some of the items in the kits because I didn't look very closely to some of them when they came out. But now I'm doing the bathroom, which this is very simple as well. and I really don't clutter this build too much. I just get like the basic items in that you would need in the house. And the thing with counters and sinks in the kitchen is I always want like this like 2 tile section to have the sink by the window, and then I can never get it to line up properly. So I decided to like use the end pieces of the counters, and I pulled out the sink a little bit to not make it look like it's all cutting into each other, and I thought it looked nice. I don't think that there's like too much of the issue of the items like merging together and like creating that weird flickering effect when you do that. I think pulling it out a little bit helped. And then I have the bedroom up here, which I also put a desk up there because I realized I didn't have a desk in this build yet, which I thought I was going to put downstairs, and then there really wasn't much space, and I didn't want to like put too much down here. I like how open it feels with like the lack of clutter and items, which like because I wanted it to feel open with like that archway, and then I put a door in the way, so it really didn't. But I think like not putting as many like tall objects around helps to create it in a different way anyway. The room I did clutter a little bit more is this upstairs bedroom. I did want this room to feel a little bit more cozy, and so I add just like some more details around, mostly on the dresser and on the desk after I add a bunch of books. I can't really remember everything I added, which is why I sound so confused when I'm thinking about it. But I just picked out items I thought would like feel natural in here. I wanted this to feel like it's like centuries ago, I guess. So I don't really have any technology in here except for the computer, which is like whenever I put the computer, I think of it more as just like a typewriter, and I pretend like it's not a computer. And the builds I practically done because it was very short, which is good for me because I'm naturally a very quiet person, and I've just been feeling very quiet lately, and so it's been like a little bit more difficult for me to show up in voiceovers, and I don't even know how I would handle or have handled like an hour long voiceover this week. I could barely handle this one, which was 19 minutes, but like I love making videos, and I love like having a little project to work on every week. So this felt like it was a good step into being able to show up without pushing myself like way too hard. And if you do like the longer videos, I'm sure that they will naturally happen when I end up overdoing it and building something huge. And say I'm still like feeling extra shy and quiet, and I don't really know what to say, or I'm like, if I feel like people don't want to hear me talk for an hour. When I'm feeling like that, um, it would probably just mean that it would be delayed like a week, and I might have like a week between builds because I can never really know until I'm building how long a build is going to take. Like this one, I assumed would have taken me much longer because shell challenges, even though I don't build to the shell and they're usually very small, I always find it that my builds always take me way longer because I'm putting so much more detail into them. But the outside was very quick, I think, because I use like very large landscape items that filled the space up quickly. Like you'll see most of these items are pretty big. And then the interior I kept very simple, so it didn't take me as long as I guess I had thought it would have at first. And these last two pictures are like my favorite parts of the landscaping. I really like how the back of the build came out with the cobblestone that goes down the path. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope everyone has a good week this week, and I'll see you next week, hopefully, with another part of my Copperdale save file. So yeah, thank you. Bye.